What happens when the richest man on earth realizes some things money can't buy, like immunity from ridicule? At 3:47 a.m., Jeff Bezos convened an emergency meeting in a plain Manhattan conference room, far from Amazon headquarters or Blue Origin labs. Legal counsel, media strategists, and crisis experts gathered while the billionaire faced a threat no algorithm could solve. Bezos, master of data and control, was suddenly powerless against viral mockery. Just 72 hours earlier, Megyn Kelly's 3 words, "walking human penis," had gone global, trending in 17 languages, spawning thousands of memes, and turning the tech titan into a worldwide punchline. The fallout went far beyond personal embarrassment, threatening market confidence and the quiet control the ultra-wealthy rely on. Lawyers feared Megyn Kelly had uncovered something bigger than Jeff's appearance. She had exposed the mechanisms of narrative control. The seeds of trouble had been sown months earlier, after his lavish 3-day wedding to Lauren Sanchez in Venice, which cost more than many nations' education budgets and featured diamonds, celebrities, and endless champagne. But in the TikTok era, fairy tales crumble fast. While mainstream media stayed silent, online communities scrutinized every detail. Lauren's cosmetic changes became meme material, and Jeff's sculpted physique, once impressive, looked desperate rather than powerful. The transformation was striking. The once awkward tech entrepreneur defending Amazon before Congress now looked like a superhero casting choice. Tanned, muscular, and perfectly groomed, a midlife crisis amplified by unlimited resources. Then came his Blue Origin flight, meant as a legacy-building milestone. Standing in his custom suit, he thanked Amazon employees and customers, calling them the funders of his journey. Intended as gratitude, it read as tone-deaf arrogance. Within hours, clips were remixed into protest songs, used at rallies and criticized on social media. A man whose employees relied on food stamps had publicly celebrated their contribution to his joyride, an irony amplified by a digital landscape that outpaced traditional PR strategies. Megyn Kelly's shift from mainstream media to podcast provocateur made her fearless. Fired from Fox and canceled by NBC, she had nothing to lose, thriving in the digital media Wild West, where controversy drives clicks. Her podcast, The Megyn Kelly Show, targeted figures mainstream outlets avoided. When she commented on Jeff Bezos, mocking his Venice wedding, Lauren's enhanced appearance, and Bezos's obvious cosmetic work, it was meant as throwaway humor. "Look at this walking human penis," she quipped, co-hosts laughing. But within hours, the phrase went viral, trending globally and spawning thousands of memes, igniting a reaction far beyond what Kelly or her team expected. Within 24 hours, the phrase had spread globally, translated into dozens of languages, becoming shorthand for billionaire arrogance. The real threat wasn't Jeff's personal embarrassment. He could handle that. But the collapse of barriers protecting the ultra-wealthy from sustained ridicule. A 17-hour emergency meeting followed. 3 crisis firms hired, 2 law firms drafting strategies, and digital experts tracking the viral spread like a pandemic. Yet, every plan failed. Comedy can't be sued, memes can't be erased, and the internet dictates its own narrative. Attempts to flood social media with positive stories of philanthropy and innovation were futile, like trying to stop a tsunami with a garden hose. The room went silent as the truth hit. Jeff Bezos faced a problem money, influence, and lawyers couldn't fix. Megyn Kelly hadn't just delivered a viral joke, she had revealed the machinery of media control shielding billionaire scandals. The Washington Post, owned by Bezos, stayed silent,
while other outlets ran fluff pieces on the wedding and Lauren's fashion, ignoring wealth inequality and labor issues. Advisors warned that the real danger wasn't the ridicule, but the exposure of media bias. Operating outside that system, Kelly showed that true criticism thrived in the digital margins. When retaliation came, her show's social media reach mysteriously dropped, a quiet but sharp countermeasure.
Advertisers pulled back and technical glitches plagued Megyn Kelly's platforms, subtle signals of billionaire influence, though nothing could be directly traced to Jeff. Yet Kelly, seasoned in media battles, anticipated the pushback and doubled down. "Seems like I struck a nerve," she declared, turning the viral phrase into a platform for serious critique. Her episodes expanded beyond mockery to highlight wealth inequality, media manipulation, and worker exploitation. The audience grew rapidly, with millions discovering her show through the Bezos coverage. The Venice wedding, meant to enhance Jeff's image, instead became a symbol of the pitfalls of extreme wealth and public scrutiny. Every aspect of the Venice wedding was scrutinized: celebrity flights, luxury yachts, and the tone-deaf timing during Amazon labor disputes. Lauren, once a respected news anchor, was recast as a symbol of excess and social climbing, her credibility overshadowed by surgical enhancements. Attempts at PR, environmental pledges, and philanthropy failed, as the public narrative painted them as out-of-touch billionaires, indulging in extravagance, while ordinary people struggled. Behind the scenes, Jeff's team realized what Megyn Kelly had long suspected. In the digital era, traditional power and influence were fragile, and online critique could override carefully crafted images. Even the Washington Post's reach couldn't compete with Joe Rogan's podcast, showing how legacy media struggled against the authenticity of digital creators. The walking human penis phenomenon highlighted a shift. Billionaires relying on media control were now vulnerable to viral mockery. Legal teams explored copyright, defamation, and antitrust claims, but protections for satire and the decentralized nature of the internet made enforcement impossible. Cut off one meme, 10 more appear, a lawyer admitted. Even Jeff Bezos, who had dominated retail, cloud computing, and space, found himself challenged and psychologically taxed by social media humor.
Jeff's carefully curated image began to crumble under relentless ridicule, with insiders noting swings between anger and depression. Daily checks of trending topics became torturous as memes, cartoons, and comparisons of his cosmetic changes proliferated, turning Megyn Kelly's joke into a cultural shorthand for billionaire excess. "Do not be a walking human penis" became entrepreneurial advice, and the frames entered everyday language. Meanwhile, Lauren's public image suffered. Every appearance was dissected for further enhancements. Fashion choices read as desperate, and her social media seemed increasingly parodic. 6 months later, even Jeff's $10 billion climate fund announcement, a moment meant to reset his reputation, was overshadowed by the meme-fueled narrative. The press conference was upended when a podcaster asked, "Mr. Bezos, how do you respond to criticisms that this feels like a walking human penis trying to buy back his reputation?" Traditional journalists froze while digital media laughed. Jeff's remarks on environmental stewardship were overshadowed as his composure faltered, and the clip went viral, trending globally. His $10 billion climate fund, meant to dominate headlines, became a footnote amid meme coverage. Over time, the mockery evolved, sparking deeper discussions about wealth inequality, media manipulation, and the concentration of power in the hands of the ultra-wealthy.
Scholars studied the phenomenon as proof that digital culture can challenge traditional power. Labor organizers and environmental activists adopted the meme, highlighting exploitation and extreme wealth. Megyn Kelly turned her viral joke into a global media empire with a top podcast and a lucrative book deal, proving that humor could outmatch corporate PR, media ownership, or philanthropy. Ridicule became a tool to make billionaire excess socially unacceptable. Ultimately, Jeff Bezos, the master of consumer behavior, had misread the internet generation, underestimating how culture was now created, shared, and weaponized online.
Jeff approached digital influence like traditional media, assuming money and power could control the narrative. Yet, the internet thrives on authenticity and irreverence, where 3 words from a canceled host could topple a billionaire's carefully crafted image. The walking human penis phenomenon symbolized the clash between old power and viral culture, showing that relevance cannot be bought but earned. Jeff became a cautionary example of how quickly the mighty can be humbled. Comedy, not competitors or regulators, proved the ultimate equalizer, reducing even the richest man on earth to a punchline and reminding the world that in the digital age, memes endure long after empires fade.